All right, here we go. Salute to Knicks Nation on this Wednesday afternoon. Another edition of Knicks Offseason Central. And on today's show, breaking news. Josh Hart gets his bag. The Knicks signed their guy, Josh Hart, to a 4-year, $81 million contract extension. The wait is over. And as Josh Hart touched down in Spain, he is now the recipient of just about $20 million per year, man. So let's talk about it. Lock in, hit that like button, hit that thumbs up button for your boy. Share this video right now and subscribe to the channel. The number one Knicks show for the fans by the fans. The number one Knicks podcast for the fans by the fans. This is KnicksFanTV, and I am your host, CP the Franchise. Salute to everybody in the chat. If you guys are working right now, throw me a hashtag grind in the chat. Let me know that you're in here and you got your priorities in order, because we got to talk about it, man. Josh Hart, 4-year deal worth $81 million. That's what the extension is worth. Now, remember, this season, he'll be making $12.9 million. So a total combined worth of $94 million is what Josh Hart will be getting from the New York Knicks for right now through the 2027 to 2028 season. All right, so how do we feel about that, man? Phone lines are up. I'll leave the phone lines up, 657-383-1509. Let me know what you guys think about it. Also, the KnicksFanTV Discord is also available for you guys to weigh in. Josh Hart got to the Knicks at the trade deadline, averaged 10 points, 7 rebounds, the number one rebounding guard in the NBA, getting to the Knicks at the trade deadline and picking up where he left off. Got after it on the defensive boards, offensive boards. When he would get after it on the defensive boards, he's one-man transition. Get out, run the break, and get us going. Get us some easy buckets, man. And so, look, I like this deal. We've been talking about it since free agency started, that when Josh Hart opted in to that $12.9 million in the final year of his deal, which allowed Dante DiVincenzo to get his money from the Knicks close to the mid-level exception, it basically meant that the Knicks were going to take care of Josh Hart this month in August and give him a big deal. Give him a big deal. We were speculating for a while that this was going to be close to 20 million bags, and he got it. He got it. So some of the reactions is that, well, it's an overpay. It's an overpay. I mean, not really, man. When you look at some of these contracts right now in the NBA, I mean, he's going to be closing in on like the 80th highest salary in the league. You look at some of these guys in his wheelhouse. Bogdanovich, OG for right now, is around 18, 19. Marcus Smart, Gary Trent Jr., and Vucevic. I think Vucevic kind of getting underpaid. How about Fournier? Fournier getting 18 bags to do absolutely nothing. You got Joe Harris, Buddy Hield. These guys will be coming off of those deals and looking to make, they'll be making much less. Bojan Bogdanovich at around 20. DeAndre Hunter, 21. Spencer Dinwiddie in the last year of his deal worth 20. When you factor in that salary caps are increasing, salaries are appreciating, it's not a bad deal. It's not a bad deal for a guy who impacts winning, guys. Let's remember that. A lot of you guys think, well, it's $20 million. He can't shoot the three. He doesn't average X amount of points. He doesn't do that and this, that, and the third. He really doesn't have to on a night-in, night-out basis. But he impacts winning in a tremendous way. I mean, take a look at these numbers. This is from cleaningtheglass.com. Take a look at his on-off numbers when he got to the Knicks. Any team, if you even want to go back to Portland. An efficiency differential with the Knicks of plus 15.9, which is the equivalent of a plus 33 in the win column. How many games would a team win in an 82-game season with this efficiency differential? Josh Hart, plus 33. If you don't believe the numbers, take a look at the eye test when he came to this team and how things were clicking. From day one, Knicks versus Jazz at MSG, Josh Hart made his presence felt. Asserted himself and found himself closing in a lot of lineups. This is a guy that impacts winning, man. Impacts winning. You need guys like that. And yes, he's a role player, and yes, he has his limitations. We know that. But to sit here and think that, this guy's not going to help this team or hasn't helped this team, I'm not sure what you've been watching. Because as soon as he got here, this team, Brunson helped this team turn another corner. Julius in his all-star season as well. But Josh Hart really stamped it when they got that 5th seed to make it into the playoffs. He stamped it. Absolutely. A two-way player. You need two-way players. Two-way players who are selfless, make solid decisions for your team. He's a chemistry guy. He's a locker room guy. What's there not to like? What is there not to like? I like the deal, man. You sign him, you take care of him, and you figure it out later. It's not an overpay by any stretch. A lot of you guys were thinking that with Jalen Brunson, that it's an overpay. No, it's not an overpay to me for a guy who does a lot of the little things to help this team get wins. I love the tandem of Josh Hart and Emmanuel Quickly, what they became in the second half of the season. I think DiVincenzo with those two guys, they're going to be really dynamic, especially on the defensive end. That Knick bench, you're not going to be able to score on that Knick bench. We talked about the rebounding, the playmaking ability. And a guy that overall makes solid decisions. So, look, I think it's a good deal. Now, some of you guys say it's overpaid. What do you guys think in the chat? Is it an overpay, or are you good with the contract? Remember, we just had Mike Vorkunov on from The Athletic just yesterday. Had a great show in the NBA Report. Definitely check that out and tap into it. You can't look at these contracts as just the average annual salary and the value of that contract year over year. You have to look at it as a percentage of the salary cap. Got to look at it as a percentage of the salary cap. And to me, when you compare it to where he is against others in the league, I don't see it as an overpay. I think he earned it, and he got it, and he's very important for this team. Very important for this team. And so, yes, the guard rotation is cluttered. We've known that. Knicks are going to have to figure it out. I think a trade will come when the time is right. But until then, you invest in your players that help you move things forward. Josh Hart is a player like that. You invest in that. You invest in that unless or until you get to where you want to be, until you get that player. Look at all the teams that Josh Hart has been on who've made upgrades at his expense, but have made talent upgrades. Right? When the Los Angeles Lakers traded Josh Hart to the New Orleans Pelicans, it was to get one of the best players in the league in Anthony Davis. When the Pelicans traded Josh Hart to the Portland Trail Blazers, it was to get what they considered a better fit for them and a talented player in his own right in a CJ McCollum. Meaning you got to pay to play. I don't think Josh Hart has been using these trades as just a filler piece. He's been used to either upgrade your team or to get your team a major upgrade. So for the Knicks, they traded the draft pick. You had to know that they were going to invest in Josh Hart, and he rewarded him. He definitely rewarded him. Here's our guy, Ian Begley, on the Josh Hart deal and what it means for the Knicks going forward. Let's hear from Ian Begley. Here it is.
Because of NBA extension rules, Josh Hart has to wait until Thursday to officially sign his extension with the Knicks, but he's expected to do just that, with both sides finalizing the details of his extension, which is going to be 4 years, sources confirm, and will be close to, if not at, the maximum allowed of $81 million. And that was first reported by ESPN. And now, obviously, the Knicks lock up Hart for the next 5 years. And this commitment tells you all you need to know about how they feel about Hart as a player. They traded for him at the trade deadline last season. He immediately impacted winning. Knicks' record in the regular season was tremendous. He helped them win that first-round series against the Cavs, and that was enough for the Knicks to see that Hart was going to be an important part of their build here. They're building out this roster, obviously looking to compete eventually for an NBA title, but in the here and now compete in the Eastern Conference to get to the Eastern Conference Finals. So they see Hart as a major piece to get to that spot. And they've got Hart, they've got Dante DiVincenzo, they've got Julius Randle, they've got Jalen Brunson, all under contract for multiple seasons here. So they've got some players under control, not just this season, but moving forward. And then the next domino to fall for the Knicks this offseason is Immanuel Quickley's extension. Quickley is extension eligible for a rookie extension, and the deadline to get that done is right before the start of the regular season. And traditionally, those extensions get done right at the deadline. So, keep an eye on how things progress there between the Knicks and Quickley. I would expect them to get a deal done, and I don't think this Hart extension in any real way impacts how the Knicks and Quickley negotiate. I think it's two separate entities, although down the line here with the Knicks, as they add these contracts, they will get close to those tiers, the tier 1, tier 2, where you're going to be penalized for spending a certain amount of money. So the Knicks are going to have to deal with that from a tax perspective, but Knicks owner James Dolan has never shied away from spending the money.
All right, so shout out to my guy Ian Begley. That was Ian's breakdown there, and a lot of you guys are asking in the chat, where does that leave Immanuel Quickley? What is his deal worth? And that's a good question. I think Quickley will get similar to a little bit more, northwards of $20 million. And as a standalone deals for these players, yeah, he's worth that. But as Ian said, when you stack everything up, when you stack up what Quickley's deal is going to be worth, Hart, Brunson, Randall, Mitch, RJ, DiVincenzo, Grimes is going to have to get paid soon. They're going to get closer and closer to those luxury tax aprons with which the new CBA is unwavering in terms of the penalties that you could suffer if you hit, especially that second tax apron. So yes, you make the investments now until you make that trade that you're looking for. But as you get closer, then, as Ian said, it may not be about the money for Dolan, but operationally, the impacts of that new CBA as they get closer to that second apron, that's where things can hurt you. It can hurt you in terms of how you make trades, can hurt your draft positioning. So that's what Brock Aller, Leon Rose, and that regime are gonna be faced with as they push forward to the future. Is this team as a collective with the salaries that we have worth the investment, or do we need to go out there and make a trade, go get that big fish, go get Donovan Mitchell, try to get Embiid, depending on what the Harden situation looks like? That's when you're going to have to kind of shuffle the decks a little bit more. So certainly something that they're going to have to pay attention to, man. Who we got in the chat, man? Salute to everybody in the chat. Hit that like button, hit that thumbs up button for you boys. Shout out to Jamaica Queens 22, our franchise channel members, man. Junior Caroma, what's good? I see Junior in here. JJ from Brooklyn. JJ never misses a show. Shout out to JJ. Shout out to the Shells, all of our mods. TM in here. Son from Brooklyn. What's good? Son from Brooklyn, always in here. $10 super chat from the rhyme animal, Chuck D, man. Chuck D says, when players start looking at someone else's money, that's when their brains and games get twisted. These players are secure, and Josh Hart in New York can mean more money in many highly visible ways. Shout out to the rhyme animal, Chuck D, man. Chuck, I saw you on MSNBC this morning, man. Was tapping in to your segment there. Excellent job, as usual. So shout out to the rhyme animal. And yeah, listen, man, Hart has continued to say that he wants to be here. This is home for him. Obviously, we know the Villanova connection with Brunson and DiVincenzo now. He bringing him in there. This was a foregone conclusion. This was never going to end in any other way but him getting this deal and getting close to 20 or 20. You know, close to 20 or 20. There was a little bit of glitch with the phones, but if you guys want to call in on the Discord, go ahead and do that. If you guys want to call in on the KFTV Discord, go ahead and do that. I'll take some calls if you guys want to tap in. Lunchtime hour on the show. We got 718 people in here. Shout out to everybody on the hashtag grind. Definitely appreciate you guys for tapping in here. Shout out to David Taylor. David Taylor's on the grind. Sean Ramos says, CP, I'm at the beach. Still locked into KFTV. Okay, so Sean is enjoying his summer. Shout out to Sean. And shout out to everybody out there working, man. Josh Hart. Let's take a look at some of these stats from Josh Hart from this year with the Knicks. You know, one of the things I truly liked, obviously, is assist percentage, 15.2%. Selfless playmaker in the 96th percentile in terms of assist to usage ratio. So a very efficient player. If you look at his shot chart overall, shot 50% from three with the Knicks in the 99th percentile. And it's funny because if you look at the playoff stats, he shot 31%. Shot 31% from three. So that's going to have to change. And you hope that he can find some consistency. And not just consistency, but timely three-point shots. Because the game plan on him is going to be, we can sag off this guy. We don't have to guard him. We'll focus on Brunson. We'll focus on Randall. And so it's going to be on Hart to improve his shot making when it counts. Like in the Cleveland game, in the Cleveland series, game 1. And also on the Knicks to find optimal lineups where his lack of shooting, his lack of floor spacing doesn't necessarily hurt them. That's the balance that they're going to have to look for. That's the balance they're going to have to look for. Another area that I love about Josh Hart, 47%. Oh, that's frequency. Let's go to the accuracy. At the rim, 75% in the regular season at the rim. You need guys like that. You need guys like that can get you high percentage buckets in an efficient and easy manner. It's already difficult as it is when you have guys like RJ and Julius out there. Josh Hart being able to get you some efficient buckets certainly helps. A 66% effective field goal percentage puts him in the 98th percentile in EFGs and 93rd shooting at the rim. 61% from the corner three, one of the best in the league. Now, again, playoffs, you know, things tapered down a little bit. Did catch the ankle injury in game 1 of the Cavs series. You know, that's certainly going to have to improve. Everybody, but Josh Hart included. Another thing you like about him, shooting foul draw rate in the regular season, 14.5 in the 91st percentile in terms of drawing contact while shooting, and 1.2% in non-shooting foul situations. That put him in the 78th percentile. Again, playoffs wasn't that pretty. Certainly was not that pretty. Defense and rebounding, another calling card for Josh Hart, man. Another calling card for Josh Hart. Defensive rebounding percentage off of field goals, 18.2%. Put him in the 97th percentile. Offensive rebounds, 6.5%. Put him in the 97th percentile. Steal percentage, 1.9%, 86th percentile, and 0.9% block percentage put him in the 83rd percentile. Impact's winning, man. Impact's winning. And as I showed you guys, a plus 33 in the efficiency differential in terms of winning. That's big. That's big. So when you combine, yes, we for the people who are saying, well, CP, you know, this move doesn't do anything, we're still locked into the 5th seed. This episode is not to wax poetic about him, you know, sending the Knicks to the conference finals or the finals. We know where the Knicks are and where they need to get to. But for right now, you're trying to maintain or enhance a little bit your positioning. And I think that move does that. You have Brunson. You have Hart. You now have DiVincenzo. You have Quickly. Over the last couple of years, you're improving your collective decision-making on the team. You're improving that, and you're adding winners to the team. No, Josh Hart has not won an NBA championship, but he's won NCAA with Brunson. They've come from high-level programs. They understand what it takes to win, and that means something. That certainly means something, man. You need guys that can make solid decision makers, because if not, then you get into the cardiac Nick scenario. Then you're pulling your hair out, and you're scrambling to get your mental health in order, man. And speaking of mental health, guys, I want to point you guys out to one of our new sponsors, man, BetterHelp. And when it comes to mental health, you know, over the years, one of the things I've loved about doing this show is that a lot of people, especially during the pandemic, would DM me or come up to me in the streets and be like, you know, You have no idea how much your show helped me from a mental health standpoint. I was going through a dark time. I was going through depression. I was down and out, but your show helped me get through. And so with that, I wanted to partner with a brand who specializes in professional mental health. You know, I certainly appreciate all the accolades I've gotten, but I want to point you guys in the direction of professionals, and that's why I've teamed up with Better Health, man. Better Health is out there to help you guys find affordable and accessible therapy. It's all online. It's all remote. All you have to do is fill out a couple of questions, and they help you find a therapist that fits you. And for you guys at home, if you use our code betterhelp.com/KnicksFanTV, they're going to give you 10% off your first month with BetterHelp. So it's a really good deal. Again, very easy to use, very simple to use. You go to betterhelp.com/KnicksFanTV. You sign up, you fill out the questionnaire, and then they will pair you up with a therapist that they feel best matches your needs. And the thing about BetterHelp, which is great, is that you don't have to settle for just that one therapist. You can choose who you want. If you're not satisfied with the first person you have, you can go to the next person. You don't have to worry about insurance coverage and accessibility, things of that nature. So once again, it's a really good deal. And when it comes to therapy, especially for us men, we kind of stigmatize therapy as a weakness, or it means that you're anxious, you're depressed. It doesn't have to mean that at all. Some people go to therapy if they have anxiety or depression issues, but some people might just not be happy in certain facets of their life, or they want to improve certain facets of their life. Some people may just go for some clarity to help, get their priorities in order. They may be overwhelmed and they just want some clarity and speak to somebody in a confidential manner. If you look at the Knicks, look at Julius Randle, what the steps he takes to get his mental health in order. Jalen Brunson has revealed that he sees a sports psychologist. Ricky Rubio taking time off to seek therapy as well. So don't always look at it as a weakness. I myself have gone through the therapy process. It's helped me immensely. And, don't look at it as a sign of weakness. Look at it as a way to improve yourself. Just like you want to improve your appearance, you want to improve your physical, you got to improve your mental too. It all goes hand in hand. So once again, go to betterhelp.com/KnicksFanTV for 10% off your first month with BetterHelp. The link is also in the description. So you just click on that link and get it going, man. Wish you guys the best of luck. All right. So let's get to the Discord. I see some callers in the Discord here. I'm going to load this up. I see LD, a fan favorite. LD, we're going to close with LD. Some other news. RJ Barrett and Team Canada are playing right now in a friendly matchup. That is for the FIBA World Cup. So after that, I'm going to tap in, see what RJ and those guys are doing with Team Canada. To the Discord we go. JayTooCool, go ahead and unmute your mic.
What up, CP? How you doing?
Good, man. How you feeling, bro?
I'm doing good. Well, first, everybody need to hit the like button. CP, you at lunchtime, and you're doing the show for us, so I'm happy for that.
Yeah.
The last time I called in, that was the time we traded for Josh Hart. It was you and Alex. Mm-hmm. You had a live show, and y'all was like, put the letter grade. Now, I had a lot of tomatoes thrown at me because I was really mad at the time because I was in a cam high.
Yeah.
So I gave it an F. Yeah. I gave it an F. I think I was the only one who did that. And I went to apologize to everybody for that. Because that was a stupid thing for me to say. Because Josh Hart was my favorite player on the team now.
Yeah.
And that man came in, immediately gave us energy, immediately gave us these rebounding, the defense. One of the best players on the team. I'm happy that he's still on the team. That contract, because I don't think I'm wrong, but I think this new contract makes him the 19th highest paid small forward in the league. And I think that's a steal. Because I think Josh Hart the top 15 small forward in the league. Just basically what he does for the team, the impact he does for the team, how much better we got from the trade deadline to helping us beat Cleveland the first round in 5 games. I appreciate this deal a lot. Now, I don't know how we'll do for quickly, because I know how we got DiVincenzo now, how the bench is going to rotate. How Teal, he barely plays. People play like an 8-man, 9-man rotation. Don't know how the bench is going to go. But if they can get that situated, this Knicks team, we can go far. I don't know how far it is, but we can at least go back to the second round of the playoffs. And hopefully we get that rematch against Miami and beat them this time.
Hopefully, man. Hopefully. Appreciate the call, Jay. So Jay's on board with it. I get that. I get that sentiment. Jay is on board with it. You are right as far as how they navigate the rotation. Oh boy, I'm getting ready for the Tibbs calls in the 23-24 season in regards to the rotation and the Monday morning quarterback that we're all going to be involved in, myself included, because there's always, every night on a loss, you're going to be like,
Allah?
well, yeah, hang tight. I'm getting to my thoughts. We'll get to you. We'll get to you. Every night, you know, we're going to be wondering what happened to this guy in crunch time, what happened to Grimes, where was RJ, where was Quick, where was DiVincenzo, where was Hart. Those questions are going to arise. Those questions will arise. But I think prior to that crunch time fourth quarter minutes, I think Hart is going to be your backup four. That's what you're looking at right now. Hart is going to be your backup four. All right, LD, let's talk about why you hate this deal. Let's hear it. Let's go.
Never hate. Nah, I'm a great Knicks fan.
Okay.
How's your day going, by the way?
That's good, man. It's always good, man. You know, appreciate it.
I think this is the best. This is the best deal we've made so far because
Okay, talk about it.
his style of play. I mean, he's if you look closely, we actually have 3 Josh Harts and Grimes, DiVincenzo, and Josh Hart. And these are the kind of players that Eric Spoelstra was able to get to the finals. Gabe Vincent, the Strodes, and these limited dribble, pass, move your body, move around, shoot, cut, and things of that sort. So I think it's a really great addition. Now you mentioned the thing about him in the playoffs. I don't judge any Knicks players' playoff numbers, good or bad, because the things we're able to get away with in the regular season in Tibbs' offense, we can't get away with in the postseason.
It might not always be there. You're right.
Exactly. The defense he's an easy read defensively when people are actually playing defense in the playoffs. So if we're able to open up and give more space to the players, these kind of players are going to dominate. So this is a great addition. I am interested to see how this affects, the rest of the roster, how we build. Another thing to consider, though, that I do find that I'm upset about a bit, if you look at, I'm pretty sure if you check the stats of Josh Hart's steal to fast breaks, Obi Toppin probably closed out about 70% of those. They somehow ended up so I'll be interested to see who's going to run with him, but nonetheless, it was a great addition, though. It's a great addition.
Yeah, I appreciate the call, man. You're right on that. You're right on that. How they execute in transition will be very interesting when you lose an athlete and a guy who ran the floor. Nobody better than Obi, especially on this team. That's going to be Halliburton's guy. But unfortunately for the Knicks, they won't have that. So you're right. It's going to be interesting to see how they get out and finish on the break. Or is it going to be a one-man fast break featuring Josh Hart, which he did very well. He did that very well. So we'll see what happens there. And as LD alluded to, you look at Josh Hart's numbers with the Knicks, again, according to cleaningtheglass.com, plus 7.4 points per possession. The Knicks were better with Josh Hart in terms of transition, puts him in the 95th percentile. Transition frequency, 3.1%, puts him in the 96th percentile. How about transition off of steals, 1.7 points per possession in the 97th percentile, plus 15.3 points per play in the 86th percentile. So those are some of the top numbers for Josh Hart there in transition. But, LD was right. With no Obi, how does the Knicks fast break look in that regard? We'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see, man. Mrs. Takeout said, show stats in playoffs. I did. I absolutely did. So, this isn't the pom-pom waving that you guys think. We did. Ask the people in the chat. We went through his cleaning the glass stats during the regular season and the postseason with the conclusion that, yes, in the postseason it has to improve, but it's got to improve for a lot of people as well. Got to improve for basically everybody except for Jalen Brunson. Let's just keep it a bean. So that's the situation on the Hart deal. $50 super chat for my guy Jason Calcanis. Says we have an amazing foundation in depth and we have amazing assets. We have a winning culture, best position in years. Absolutely. It is. They're in a good spot until they're not in a good spot. They're in a good spot until they can get that guy that can help them turn the corner. Who that is, when that will happen, is anybody's guess right now. But for now, you have to continue to compose a team that fits, that is cohesive, that plays well off of each other and can make each other better. Because the guys who you want to improve are your rookies, your younger player. You want to enhance the value of those players so that they're either helping you win or they're helping you go get the next guy that can ultimately help you win a championship. So for right now, you just got to continue playing the game. Josh Hart, good pickup. What do you guys think in the chat, man? Leave me a comment in the chat. 4 years, $81 million for Josh Hart. What do you guys think about that, man? Leave me a comment in the chat. Also, check out our show that we had with Mike Vorkanoff of The Athletic, man. Had a great show with Mike yesterday. Really jumped into the salary cap and NBA free agency. Really jumped into that. So make sure that you guys are tapping into that episode. We had a great episode. We touched on the Knicks offseason. We talked about Mike's experience covering the Knicks on the Knicks beat. So make sure you guys tap into that. That was a great episode yesterday on the NBA Report. King Matthews, who's a King Matthews franchise channel member of 6 months, says, easily the heart of the city. Let's go. People got to realize the salary cap went up. And if Dylan Brooks can get his money, why not Josh Hart? W from the front office. Shout out to King Matthews. Shout out Christopher Blake in here. Make sure you guys support our sponsors, man. Once again, BetterHelp.com/KnicksFanTV. 10% off your first month with BetterHelp, man. Go out there and get the therapist that's right for you. And have no shame about it, man. All online, all remote. Go check them out. BetterHelp.com/KnicksFanTV. Link is also in the bio. Also, Caldera Lab for your men's skincare. Go to calderalab.com. Use promo code KFTV for 20% off plus free ship. No, just 20% off. That's not free shipping on that one. Just 20% off. But you also have manscaped.com. Promo code KFTV for 20% off plus free shipping. Also, remember that this show is available in audio podcast format. All the major podcast platforms. So those of you that are on the grind watching on YouTube, you can continue in audio podcast format and never have to miss a minute of the number one show for the fans by the fans, number one podcast for the fans by the fans. Hit the like button, hit the share button, subscribe to the channel. We'll check you guys out. I'm going to go check out RJ right now in Team Canada. We'll see how the game goes. Maybe we'll do a little post-game reaction later on this evening, so tap in with us. See you guys in a little bit.